jury said one word. Guilty. 3 seconds later, the courtroom went completely dark. The courtroom was silent when the word guilty left the jury foreperson's mouth. It echoed. Heavy. Final. A man stood alone at the defense table, hands steady, eyes calm. Too calm, because 3 seconds later, the lights went out. Not flickered, not dimmed, gone. Pitch black. Gasps filled the room. Chairs scraped. Someone shouted for security. And then, a screen turned on by itself. The cold blue light cut through the darkness, and what appeared on it stopped everyone from breathing, because the person committing the crime wasn't the one standing accused. It was someone already inside the courtroom. If you love courtroom twists where justice refuses to stay buried, subscribe now to the Unheard Witness, because the truth always finds a way to speak. The lights didn't come back immediately. Only the glow of the evidence monitor remained. Security rushed toward the switches. The judge demanded order, but nobody listened. Every eye locked onto the screen. Grainy footage played. A hallway. Late night. The building timestamp showed the same night the crime happened. The accused looked up slowly. For the first time since the trial began, confusion crossed his face, because he had never seen that video before. Microphones squealed as someone tried to shut it off. Nothing happened. The video continued. A figure entered the hallway. Hooded, careful, carrying a folder. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. The prosecutor stood, angry. "This footage is unauthorized," he said, but his voice cracked because the figure removed the hood, and several people recognized the posture immediately. Not clearly enough to confirm, just enough to feel wrong. The lights snapped back on. The screen went black. Silence returned. The judge leaned forward slowly. Who activated that recording? No answer. Security checked the technician desk. Nobody had touched it. The technicians swore the system had been powered down since morning. Because if nobody turned it on, who did? The prosecutor demanded the verdict continue. "The jury has spoken," he insisted. The jurors shifted uneasily. Some stared at the accused. Others stared at the screen. The judge hesitated. That hesitation lasted only seconds, but everyone noticed. "Court will recess for 10 minutes, the judge said. Shock spread instantly. Verdicts were not interrupted. Not like this, because as officers escorted the accused away, someone in the gallery stood up, an elderly janitor, uniform dusty, hands shaking. "I didn't mean for it to start yet," he whispered. Security grabbed him immediately. The room erupted. The judge ordered him forward. The man trembled at the witness stand. He explained slowly. After closing hours the previous week, he found a flash drive taped under a bench. No label, no note, just tape. He assumed it belonged to attorneys. He plugged it into the technician computer earlier that morning. Nothing happened, so he forgot about it, until moments ago. When the verdict started, the screen just turned on, he said. The prosecutor objected instantly. Planted evidence, he argued. Manipulation. But the judge didn't dismiss it, because one juror suddenly spoke, quietly. "I recognize that hallway." Heads turned. She swallowed. "It's the executive entrance to the company building. The same building where the crime happened." The defense attorney demanded the video be replayed. Technicians struggled. The flash drive appeared corrupted. Files flickered, half missing, like someone tried deleting them. Micro cliffhanger. Someone had wanted it erased, but failed. Finally, the footage resumed. So the hooded figure unlocked a door, entered. Camera angle shifted. A second camera activated automatically. Security footage clearer. And this time, the face showed. Gasps exploded. Not the accused, not even close. It was a senior investigator who had testified earlier in the trial. The same investigator who discovered the key evidence. He stood frozen in the courtroom, color draining from his face. The prosecutor turned slowly toward him, shock replacing confidence. The investigator shook his head immediately. "That's fabricated," he said. But nobody believed him, because the timestamp matched exactly. And then the video continued. Inside the office, documents pulled from a safe, files photographed, evidence bags planted. The courtroom realized, simultaneously, the entire case had been built on staged proof. Chaos erupted. The judge slammed the gavel repeatedly. Order barely returned. The investigator lunged toward the exit. A security tackled him before he reached the door. As officers restrained him, something fell from his jacket. A second flash drive. Silence fell again. The judge ordered it examined immediately. Minutes stretched. The accused sat motionless, still saying nothing, as if waiting. Because maybe he already knew. The second drive loaded. New footage appeared. Audio included this time. Voices whispered. The investigator speaking with someone unseen. You promised this would stay buried." A second voice answered. Cold, calm, familiar. The entire courtroom froze, because it belonged to someone seated only feet from the judge, the prosecutor. He stood slowly, face pale. "That isn't me," he said. But nobody interrupted the playback. The recording continued. Money discussed, deadlines, pressure from corporate executives desperate to close the case quickly. They needed a scapegoat, someone quiet, someone unlikely to fight back. The accused lowered his head, not in shame, in relief, because the truth finally sounded louder than accusations. The prosecutor staggered backward. Reporters rushed forward. Security surrounded him. But the judge raised one hand. "No one moves." His voice cut deeper than the gavel ever had. He turned toward the jury. "You will disregard the verdict." Shock rippled again. Rare, almost unheard of. The accused looked up sharply, hope breaking through restraint. But the judge wasn't finished. "Bring the courthouse surveillance footage from this morning," he ordered. Confusion spread. Why? Technicians obeyed anyway. Another screen appeared. Morning footage played. People entering court. Attorneys, witnesses, staff. And then, a woman placing something beneath a bench. The same bench where the janitor found the drive. She turned slightly toward the camera. Face visible. Not the prosecutor. Not the investigator. Someone else entirely. The judge's own clerk. Gasps shattered the silence. She collapsed instantly into tears. "I didn't know what was on it," she sobbed. "They told me to leave it there." "Who?" the judge demanded. She pointed toward the gallery, toward a corporate executive who had attended every day quietly, never speaking, never noticed. Security seized him immediately because he didn't resist. He smiled, the calmest smile anyone had seen all day. "I warned them the truth would surface," he said softly. The courtroom froze. He confessed easily. The company faced massive fraud exposure. The accused had discovered irregularities months earlier. Whistleblowing would destroy careers. So they framed him. The investigator planted evidence. The prosecutor cooperated unknowingly at first, then knowingly. Money changed hands. Threats followed. The flash drive insurance, placed secretly by another employee who feared retaliation. The blackout earlier wasn't sabotage. It was a timed activation hidden inside the file, designed to interrupt sentencing, to force attention. The judge sat back slowly, years of experience written across his face. He looked at the accused. "For the record," he said carefully, "all charges are dismissed." The words landed softly, but their weight shook the room. Handcuffs removed. Freedom returned. Reporters shouted questions. Security escorted multiple arrests simultaneously. The prosecutor stared at the floor, career ending in silence. But one mystery remained. Who programmed the drive? The janitor insisted he didn't know. The clerk swore she followed instructions anonymously emailed. Technicians traced nothing. No sender, no origin. Days later, the accused returned quietly to retrieve belongings. The courtroom empty again. Echoes softer now. He paused near the technician desk, plugged in a small device unnoticed, checked a file, deleted something. A faint smile crossed his face, because the camera above him blinked off for exactly 3 seconds. Then back on. Nobody noticed. Outside, sunlight waited. Freedom felt unfamiliar. A reporter chased him down the courthouse steps. "One question," she begged. "Who exposed the truth?" He considered answering. Instead, he said calmly, "Sometimes justice doesn't need witnesses," and walked away. Behind him, inside the courtroom, the evidence screen flickered once more. Just once, displaying a single message before shutting down forever. Case closed.